Who would have thought that the man everyone ignored, the janitor sweeping the cold, empty hallway on his final shift, would have 3 military helicopters land outside the school, their blades chopping the air like thunder as soldiers shouted, "We need you, now." If you're still watching, stay with me till the end, because what happens next will shock you, break you, and lift you right back up. And if stories like this inspire you, make sure you like the video and subscribe, because this journey, you don't want to miss what comes after. On his last night shift, Ian wiped sweat off his forehead as he pushed his mop across the dimly lit school hallway. He was a single dad, barely holding life together. His daughter, Miriam, was waiting at home, sitting on the old sofa they'd gotten secondhand, soft only in patches, doing homework under a flickering bulb. Ian had already been told that tonight would be his final shift. Budget cuts, they said. No apologies, no farewells. Just a simple letter folded inside a cheap white envelope. After 7 years of working without missing a single day, this was how the world thanked him. But what hurt him most wasn't losing the job. It was the thought of telling Miriam. She was only 12, yet she had the wisdom of someone much older. She never asked for toys, never complained about the same school shoes she'd been wearing for 2 years, and always said, "Baba, it's okay. We have each other." But tonight, Ian had to tell her something she didn't deserve to hear. He placed the mop back in the storage closet, pulled the keys from the ring, and paused. For the first time in years, he felt completely defeated. His hands trembled, his chest tightened, and for a moment, he wondered if he had anything left to give this world. He walked outside the main entrance of the school, exhaled slowly, and gazed at the quiet city street. A soft wind brushed against him. The sky was heavy, with clouds threatening rain. Perfect, he thought, another thing to deal with. As his eyes drifted downward, he saw a stack of unpaid bills waiting in his bag. He couldn't even afford the bus fare home. He would walk the long way back, hoping his daughter was still awake. But before he could take a single step, everything began to shake. A deep, mechanical roar rolled over the neighborhood, louder and closer with every second. Ian looked up sharply, his heart leaping into his throat. Lights, bright, blinding, cut through the clouds like swords. Then he heard it, the unmistakable chop 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 of helicopter blades tearing through the night. 1, 2, 3 helicopters descended from the sky, their searchlights sweeping across the schoolyard. Ian stumbled back, unsure if he was dreaming. Dust and wind spun around him violently as the aircraft landed, their engines thundering like war drums. Doors slammed open. Armed soldiers jumped out, scanning the area. Then a high-ranking officer stepped forward, his uniform heavy with medals. His boots hit the ground like someone marching with purpose. He pointed straight at Ian. "You," the officer shouted. "Ian Qureshi. We need you, now." Ian was frozen. Him, a janitor. A man who could barely pay rent. Before he could respond, the officer approached him, removed his helmet, and stared at Ian with a mix of shock and relief. "I can't believe we found you," the officer said. "We've been searching for years." Ian shook his head. "There must be some mistake. I'm just a janitor." The officer stepped closer. "No, you're the man who saved my entire squad in Kandahar. You disappeared after the incident. We thought you were dead." Ian's heart dropped. He had spent years running from his past, burying memories that still burned in the dark corners of his mind. Before becoming a janitor, Ian had been part of an elite rescue unit, one of the best. But a mission gone wrong had taken the lives of his team, except the officer now standing before him. Ian had left everything behind. The uniform, the medals, the identity, all to protect Miriam from the enemies he'd made along the way. "No," Ian whispered. "Those days are gone. I can't go back." "Ian," the officer said softly, "your daughter is in danger." The world stopped. Ian felt the ground disappear beneath him. "What do you mean?" he demanded, voice shaking. "A mercenary group has resurfaced. The same people who targeted you before. They're tracking your family. We intercepted communication today. They're coming for her." Ian's knees nearly buckled. Miriam, his little girl, the only light in his entire world. "We need to get you both into protective custody," the officer said. "And we need your skills again. This time, not as a soldier, but as a father fighting to protect what matters most." Ian swallowed hard. He could feel his old instincts returning, the fire, the clarity, the strength he thought he'd lost. The janitor uniform suddenly felt like a shell he no longer needed. Take me to her, Ayan said, eyes sharp. The officer nodded. We have a team securing your home, but we need you airborne now. Ayan climbed into the helicopter, the rotors shaking the air around him. As the aircraft lifted, he looked down at the school, the place he'd been thrown out of, the place that had seen him at his lowest. But now, things were different. This time, he had purpose again. The city lights blurred beneath them as the helicopter raced toward his neighborhood. Ayan's mind flashed with memories, carrying Miriam on his shoulders, comforting her after nightmares, working night shifts so she could have a future better than his. Every sacrifice, every struggle, every heartbreak, all of it led to this moment. Sir, a soldier called out, your home is in sight. Ayan's pulse raced. Smoke was rising from the street. Cars were abandoned. Lights flickered. No, no, no. Ayan shouted. But as the helicopter lowered, he saw something that made tears fill his eyes. Miriam was standing with two soldiers beside her, wrapped in a heavy jacket, safe. She saw her father and ran toward the helicopter, waving frantically. Baba. Ayan jumped out before the helicopter could fully land. He scooped her into his arms, holding her as tightly as humanly possible. I'm here, he whispered. I'm here, Miriam. I won't let anything happen to you. She clung to him, trembling. They said bad people were coming, Baba. They won't touch you, he promised. Not while I'm breathing. The officer stepped beside them. We're relocating both of you. But after that, we need you on this mission, Ayan. No one else alive knows the enemy like you do. Ayan looked down at his daughter. Her small hands held onto him, trusting him with her entire world. Then he looked back at the officer. I'll do it, Ayan said. For her. For everyone. The officer smiled. Welcome back. The night ended with the roar of helicopter blades carrying them toward safety, toward a new beginning, toward a future no longer defined by loss, but by purpose, strength, and hope. And as Ayan held Miriam close, watching the destroyed neighborhood fade behind them, he whispered a promise into her hair. We're not running anymore. If you're still here listening to Ayan's story, hit the like button, it helps more than you know. And subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter, because Ayan's journey is only just beginning.